See, I have mine on. Thank you so much, Meg.
You look gorgeous. Yay,
Thank
Leslie
you.
is
I
right.
love mine.
Suzanne says, yay, Leslie. And I will second that. I want to say one of the coolest things about being an author and an author cohort is having conversations with amazing authors. And one of the things I love about the tagline of the show is an empty room is a story waiting to happen and you are the author, which is something that, you know, is kind of interesting. If you're really scared to go into something new or do something new and you look all around you and you take it all in, you've actually started to be the author of your own story. So I want to say, I'm so happy to have you. You are definitely one of those bright spots in the world today, as far as authors.
Sweet.
No, it's true. You know, I if you ask people in my book club, I am like, first of all, I definitely like to go and meet the quote unquote meet the authors while I'm reading their book, because I like to see what they're bringing to the table as far as their life experience. So when I like them, I know that I'm going to like the book even more so. And that is certainly something that I'm willing to spend my time doing if I like the person who actually writes it. So once again, I want to say this is a IG Live where the storyteller becomes the story, and you, in fact, become the story. So, wow, what a whirlwind. You are now how many months into your book publishing experience?
April. Well, it came out April 6th. So what is that? May, June, July, August. Wow, 4 months.
4 months now. And let me ask you, summing up in one word, how would you describe, and I know it's hard to describe in one word anything, but how would you describe this experience so far?
Oh my God, in one word?
Yeah, two, crazy. Three. Maybe I'll give you 3 adjectives.
Okay, I was going to say crazy.
Okay.
I was going to say highs and lows.
Okay.
Roller coaster. Yes.
So crazy, highs and lows, and roller coaster. That's a great start. And you guys, we are talking to the author today, Leslie Rasmussen of After, Happily Ever After, which is an incredibly fun, lighthearted, and amazingly poignant at the same time read, because, you know, she's dealing with some really incredible topics where people generally in midlife are looking at their lives very different and certainly looking for more meaning and purpose. And I'm not going to get into the details because some of you who haven't read it need to go tell your book clubs to get it today. Yes. But for sure, you know, one of the things about you that I love most is that you have an incredible sense of humor. Oh, Leslie. And it's not the, you know, matter of fact, in your face, you know, laugh out loud. It's the very intelligent humor where you're just like, oh, what is that, you know? And the bottom line is that to have that kind of skill, you came from the sitcoms. You came from the world of sitcoms. So tell me a little bit about that and what's brought you to this particular place in your life so far.
Well, basically, when I got out of college, I did not know I wanted to be a writer. So I went to the television studios because I thought that would be like so much fun. And I did that for a while, and then I watched writers, and I'd always written my whole life. So I thought, oh my gosh, I can write. So of course, naively, I started writing. And when I got into sitcoms, I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. But, you know, things happen. You raise your kids and all that kind of stuff. So I ended up going, you know, to other professions, but I came back to it. And I'm so happy that I did come back to the writing, because yes. I just, and you know, my book, I put in sort of fun stuff that happens in a way that's like witty banter, because that's something that I really enjoy writing the most.
Witty banter. Well, you know, witty banter is an art. Let's be honest. I mean, you sometimes you have those conversations where people think they're being funny and you're just,
oh, really?
Sorry about that. So bottom lining it, you know, witty banter is certainly something that you should always bring to the cocktail parties, because it will definitely liven things up, and you're always probably a fun spot in the, hopefully when we go back to cocktail parties, right? Everybody needs to have a cocktail
Well, you know, what's funny is that I'm on paper, I can be really funny and go back and forth. I'm not as funny in real life. I just never have been. It's like, I'm not as quick. I can think of it later. My father was one of those people that just laughed at everything I said. I could be real quick with him. There's certain people I can be really fast with. but like the average person, I'm not somebody who just throws in all these jokes all the time. That's not who I am.
So you're going to have to channel your father every time that you decide to be funny, because clearly, at least one person in your audience is going to laugh. I always say when you're up on stage, focus on that one person that you got.
Exactly. He was very sarcastic, and I was sarcastic with him, and that was really fun. So we were always laughing.
Oh, that's awesome. One of the things that I do love, and I mean, congratulations to you, is that you got a nomination for a Zibby Owens Award for the dedication of your book. And I think I said this to you at our initial outset, our interview. One of the coolest things is that you dedicated it to your dad, and it's such a beautiful dedication at that. I mean, I'm really excited that you got a nod toward that. So
that's why I put it up, because that Zibby Awards aren't usually, they're different things in your book that most people don't give you an award for. And when I saw the dedication, I thought, you know what, that's the only thing, and it's so important to me. So when I was nominated for it, it just meant a lot to me, and a lot to my mom, actually, since my father's no longer here. It meant a lot to my mom.
That's really great, because it's about legacy and what you leave behind and impacting the people that you care about most, and hopefully, impacting others. And Suzanne saying it made me cry. Mm-hmm. So that's amazing. And, Carolyn's also saying that, two of my favorite women talking. We love you too. Nod right back to you. Yeah, I wanted to go back. So how do you feel now? Any surprises on the journey so far for those people who are aspiring authors who are looking to jump into that realm? Because you are the story right now.
I think the biggest surprise for me was myself, actually, because I'm not, like I said before, I'm not the life of the party, hysterical, whatever person that runs around. And so I was terrified. I mean, when I first did your show, that was the first thing I ever did. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to fall apart. I'm going to go blah, 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 and be terrible. And I mean, you are an amazing person to have your first show, because you made me feel so confident and comfortable. That's the thing that surprised me the most, is I've now done so many podcasts and so many different things, and I feel comfortable doing them, which is, if you told me this a year ago, I'd say, oh my God, I'm not. In fact, I even told my PR people, don't set up any launches or anything.
Really?
I don't do anything outside of just giving out the book. So,
wow.
So I thought, and little did I know that you have to do a lot of stuff when you do a book.
Suzanne's saying that I popped her cherry too, so I'm glad.
You did. You absolutely did, because you popped Suzanne's before me. I watched it.
This is quite an honor. I feel so really impassioned about this. I wanted to go back to your cover, and I think that certainly, I think that everything about your book is going to speak directly to everything about you. It tells you what kind of person you are, and honestly, one of the things I loved most about you is when I saw the cover, how colorful it is. So maybe you're not the most talkative person or whatever expressive, but this cover, look at how gorgeous that is. It's like the colors just come out at you. Tell me a little bit about that and what you were what angle you were coming with regard to that.
Well, I knew that I did not want just a photograph. And the books that I had looked at previously that were kind of in my genre, a lot of them did have this kind of cover, something that was just a little bit more like sketch and not completely clear. And what I loved about that cover, because of the name of After Happily Ever After, she's throwing the pages, right? She's throwing the pages. So she's starting a new chapter in her life. She's throwing the pages out of the old chapter, and she's saying, I'm going to go rediscover myself. And she's walking away from the house. So it's not that she's giving up on her house. She's just saying, I'm going to go be more independent and be me, which I loved. And I love the colors, because I do love I wanted the red dress. I love that red dress.
And it matches your tiara blue.
Yep, it does.
It matches your tiara. I think, one of the cool things, it's like it says on the top of the from Laura Dave, smart and funny, After Happily Ever After is an exciting debut. And it really is. It really tells, the story, and then such a great way. That's what I keep saying. I was like, I can see this in a movie. I want to see something like this that shows how someone decides to, get a hold of their life again and go back out there. And even though you paused for a little bit, the pause has great foundational purposes too. I mean, my God, how much wisdom you gained in the pause. But the reality is that there's another calling as well, and you're not stopping there. It's like you're still alive, you're still breathing, you're ready to go. Tell me one of your favorite moments so far on this book launching journey. You know, significantly, I know that you just had your first in-person in California, which is congratulations to you and Lori James.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great. I think my favorite moments so far, I have two. The first one was actually my first trade review that came in, which was because when you put a book out there, you have no idea if everybody's going to just hate it or say, oh, this person's a terrible writer or anything. I mean, I'd gotten a lot of accolades for everything I put on Huffington Post, but this was different. This was, almost 300 pages of somebody reading a whole story. And so when that review came in, it was such a sigh. I was like so relieved. I remember the email came in that said it was there, and I was terrified to open it. And I went to my husband. I went, do I open this? Do I not? Because is it going to ruin my day or is it going to be okay? And I read it, and this reviewer got every single thing I was trying to say. Everything.
Got you.
And it just, no matter what came after that, I felt like, okay, this is going to be okay. And it was that, and then people like you, but also people coming out of the woodwork that I haven't talked to since high school, and coming out and supporting me and buying the book. And, I know Facebook brings us all together, so to speak, even though we're not seeing each other. But so many people men that I went to high school with, just so many people came out of the woodwork, and it was great. And the support was really very wonderful.
Well, Carolyn's saying you're a pro now, but you were fabulous on that first show with me, which you absolutely were. Lori's yay for us, and Suzanne is seconding your kick-ass writer. Oh my God. So, and then Lynn is also wishing all of us a lovely day. Thank you so much, Lynn. One of the favorite moments I think I have is literally looking into the life of the author. I think that's really kind of interesting if you're vulnerable enough to share that experience, about storytelling to others who are sitting there thinking, oh, but what about me? Why should I write a book? Why would I do something like this? Tell me a little bit about your process as far as that's concerned, because I know people, need a little push, and I love the fact that you're getting the kudos that you well deserve, as far as what's happening with the trades and with all the people who are responding to it in such a way. We tend to look at the negative stuff, so it's nice to really focus on the positive things, because it's those positive things that you're making a difference in the lives of others, which I think is really important, more important to focus in that direction. But tell me a little bit about, your process and how maybe you can.
Wait, you just went out. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you because you just went out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but barely.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the fuse. The universe playing with us. Anyway, no. So what I was asking is, tell us a little bit about your process, and if someone's listening, maybe to inspire them to move forward on this particular journey.
My process is I just enjoy the writing part of it. I hate everything else to do with all the marketing stuff I can't stand, but which we all have to do. But I just like to write, and I think everybody has a certain story inside of them, and they probably have more than one for sure. But whatever that story is, somebody else can relate to it, and somebody else can feel better about themselves hearing your story. And if you're vulnerable, which is all our writing is, no matter whether it's memoir like yours, which was really vulnerable, or if it's fiction and it's somebody else's story, you're still putting so much of yourself into it. So I think that people can just learn from different stories and just get something out of those characters, or it can be just purely escapism and just get you out of your life for a little while. But my process is just really, I don't necessarily write every single day, but when I write for hours and hours. I can sit down and just get through what I need to get through, and if I have not a lot of time that day, I'll just do a scene, or I'll just take a pad of paper and sit outside and just write a scene. I do this all the time. I write a scene longhanded because it becomes less scary for some reason. Now, some people are more computer. I put it on the computer afterwards and then I completely write it. But I write like notes, or I write dialogue, or just little bits about the scene, or come up with where is this scene going to take place that's a little bit more unusual. And I do a lot of that longhand because for me, that's not intimidating.
That's actually a great tool to trade to take a look at if you're kind of stuck on the computer, is take a pen and a piece of paper and start to see what comes out of the pen once you start to write and play and doodle, maybe anything that'll kind of get your creative juices flowing. So, I wanted to go back to the fact where, you're in month 4 now, right? And by the way, I just want to really point out as well that what makes an amazing author, and I know you don't like the marketing, but is really to be able to sell yourself. And everybody's selling themselves on a daily basis. Like we all have a brand, we all have that's who we are, and we want to make sure that we can communicate who we are to the world, which is in fact what you got back as far as the kudos from other
Well, it's also what you said before, which is you said you like to meet the author, and if you like them, you probably like the book. And people want to see who you are as a person, not just the book. And so I think that's why we do podcasts and Zooms and IG Lives and all this other stuff, is so people can get to know us, or Instagram and putting pictures of other parts of our life on it.
Yeah, and something interesting that you bring to the table is something more like, I always say, if I can learn something from the conversation, like for any Instagram Live, or I can take away and add to my life, that's beneficial. That's really kind of what makes the person that I'm following amazing. That gives them my time, first of all, which is like clearly an honor. Yeah. And then what I take away from that. So as far as as far as the takeaway, I think, I was looking kind of interestingly, and this came up for me at the author's purpose. What is an author's purpose, and what gives people? And the things that came up for a certain purpose is to instruct, entertain, inform, persuade, and describe. Which of those 5 things do you find yourself playing with and enjoying to play with most?
I love to entertain. I mean, that's something I really like. I like to tell a story through entertaining. That's why I like the witty banter, because you can get something out of who these people are, but you're sort of laughing with them or thinking they're crazy or whatever it is. So probably entertain is my favorite, but I'd say very close to that, if not at the same level, is relating. And I can't remember all of them that you said, but yeah.
Is that inform or relate?
Inform.
It's really good because, some people, I can tell you this. If I go to a theater right now and pick a movie that's going to put myself on edge and make me want to vomit and life is like horrible, I think I might die.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what I'm looking for. I want to come away with some kind of bit of inspiration, especially in light of what's going on in the world right now, like inundating us, coming away with something, because you don't have to inundate yourself into struggle constantly. You can actually look at those little bright spots, which is in fact what happily ever after is a really great bright spot on the journey. If you want to grab it and get some inspiration, of one person told through the voice of Maggie, her going through her life. And
I always say it's humorous with heartbreaking moments.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of like, I would think is a good description of your life,
Well, yeah, most people's life, yeah.
Yeah, like life is humorous, and then we have those moments, and then we try to bring back, like the ability to laugh at ourselves, because books do in fact change lives. And let me ask you, and I know this is coming in from out of the blue, what's a book that you read that you're like, this has done that for me?
Oh, wow. That's just entertained me, or what?
That's, made a difference in your life as far as, or maybe many books.
So many books have, I know this is a long time ago, but from the start, Judy Blume was like something that just, all those books had such a message, but they were so entertaining and they were so well written, I think, at that point. And then going on, I've read a lot of Jennifer Weiner, which I really like her books because they're kind of realistic with also giving you a message. So I love her books. I just read her last one, which was not That Summer. That's the new one. What's the one right before that? I'm trying to remember the name. Something to do with summer. Big Summer, which I thought was a great book. And it was entertaining, and it also did have a message too.
Well, in this crowded room that we find ourselves in as authors, trying to be heard, seen, everything. We were laughing the other day because I was like, I am team VIP, Meg, and I don't beg. So that is kind of like literally where I'm coming from. But the same thing goes for all of you authors out there, especially you. You have a great product, a great quality. The thing is that if you build it, and I was watching Field of Dreams, they will come. And I do believe that over time, keep plodding away. After these last 4 months, are you surprised with the success that you have seen?
Yeah, I'm actually shocked by it because, being a debut author, you never know. And before that point of my book coming out, I really wasn't even on Instagram. So I didn't have a big platform of, people, because I just had my friends from high school and Facebook and all that stuff. So you have to build all of that. And it's not that easy when, you've just been sort of this person over here and now you have to have this platform over there. So I think I have been really surprised at how I wanted them to relate to it. But like I said before, you don't know when you put a book out there, what's going to happen. So it's all been a surprise. Everything that's happened. I mean, the book's won awards. That surprised me. So I would say everything that's happened, has been a surprise.
So what would be your big wish now from this point on until the end of the year for your unfolding process and what's going to happen?
My big wish, I think, would be a few things. One is to keep selling books and, to get more known, like across the country or in the middle, of the country where people don't know who I am, but just to keep doing things that are selling books. And the other one is I would love to sell the rights, of course. We all would love to sell the rights to our book. But those are probably, keep doing these kind of things and keep talking to people and just meet as many people as possible. I mean, meeting you has been a blast, and meeting all the other, people in our cohort of She Writes has been fantastic also.
Yeah, and you do find your people. I do. Like, if you build it, they will come. Your people will align with you, and they will find you. There's so many human beings out in the world that would be so enlightened by the message that you have, your wit, your charm, your humor, everything.
Thank you.
That as long as you keep moving forward and keep, planting your seeds and growing, you are going to get everything that you've ever dreamed of, because persistence does in fact pay off. So at the end, I think one of the things that I, especially, being an indie author, and the experience and, everything that has come to light, I just want to give the pitch out there. We as a group, Leslie and Liani Kutcher and also Suzanne Simonetti, we're going out there and we're pitching a panel for South by Southwest this coming March. It's called Indie Storytellers, How to Become the Story. And definitely you'll learn more about Leslie and her process and everything that she has gone into, the hard work that has followed through with regard to this book and the upcoming books that she has, because she's not done. She's started.
Nope. I have a second book that will come out at some point.
Yeah, but I think that it's like the crash course is like the initial, right? That's how maybe I feel. Maybe how do you feel with regard to this first debut?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Like it's a crash course and learning the parameters of what author is.
The first book took me 4.5 years because I had no idea what I was doing. The second book is moving much faster because now I understand how to do it and how to get through the outline and all that kind of stuff. And so, it's absolutely, the first book is a crash course completely. You don't know what you're doing at all.
So you're standing on higher ground. The learning curve is going to be less. So absolutely. And we have Kel Hitchcock telling us that she upvoted for South by Southwest. So a big shout out. Thank you so much. She wants us to come see her in Austin. So if we do go, we'll be there. We'll definitely have a celebration for sure.
Definitely.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, one of the things that one of the things that is magical to me, for sure, is thinking about this after Happily Ever After, and what's your takeaway as far as, say, your interactions with the community? Like, you just had an in-person book launch. You've been doing book clubs, which I think is fantastic, because really everybody, you want to get to know Leslie. She's amazing. She really brings some incredible insights to the party. So if you have a book launch, or I'm sorry, not a book launch, if you have a book club.
Yes, I love book clubs. They're so much fun. I've Zoomed and I've gone to them, and they're really fun.
I think my crown is coming off. But I think, one of the things I think is really good is because you are such a personable, relatable person,
Oh, thank you.
And that, so welcoming you into a room and your book is, kind of like the calling card, followed by you would be like a double whammy of amazingness. So yes, like I said, amazing authors, there's a whole point behind that. They help you see the story that perhaps is unfolding in the room. So I definitely encourage you all to invite Leslie into your life, invite her book into your home.
Yes.
Take a read in a, you know, and really, play with the words that she put on the page, because it is entertaining, it is witty, it is humorous. She has such incredible skill as a sitcom writer, being the same, and you're not gonna miss a beat with regard to this book. So I'm gonna give you the final word, Leslie, today to send us off on our merry way. As far as some kind of insight or inspiration, or perhaps something from the book that you want to share with all of us.
Well, the most important thing for me from the book that I want to share is I want people to understand that, just because you have something in your life, like for example, my career at the beginning, and I loved it, you can find other things. Your life doesn't end in midlife. You can keep inventing yourself or reinventing yourself. You can keep moving forward. You can find something else that you love. And so I would tell everybody, just don't think like, oh, wow, I'm over 50 or I'm over 40 or I'm over 60 or 70, because it doesn't really matter. And especially with writing a book, there's so many major famous authors that wrote their books when they were old. So, I think that you just keep doing something that you enjoy. And I think that's really important. And the other takeaway is I want everybody to buy your book, because your book is so inspirational. I mean, I remember so much of it, and I read it a while ago, but I loved your book because it gave me, it was hopeful, but you watch yourself go through all these things, and I felt like I was with you, and I loved it. So I hope everybody's pre-ordering it right now.
This is about you, but I thank you.
Well, we get to do your launch. Suzanne and I get to do your launch, yes. So it's about us too.
That is so exciting because, yes, my launch, and I will give it a plug, a shameless plug. On the 8th of September, I have this beautiful writer in front of us, Leslie Rasmussen, and Suzanne Simonetti will put me on the hot seat. So it would turn around the tables on me to actually introduce my book, which has been 10 years in the making. So literally, I am so blessed to have you in my life and all the other wonderful authors that I've met along the way. It certainly has expanded my life, my vision, my world. Reading your book was amazing. I just laughed. I love to laugh. And, honestly, when I was going through the hardest times in life, I thought laughter was gone to me. And, I can turn, and, nobody has to walk through life alone. I will say that. You get a community, and reading is the most amazing way to take yourself in new directions. And definitely, after Happily Ever After, I'll put this up again for all of you guys to see, is something that'll make you feel like possibility abounds. You don't have to stop at whatever age you find yourself. There's always the awakening and the coming alive to your life. And is an after Happily Ever After that is even happier. So with that, I want to say, Leslie, you are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Meg, for having me again. I love doing interviews with you. They're so much fun.
Oh my God, I could talk to you guys forever. It's like,
I know.
And the funny thing is that we're all like, like, if we can really be honest, like out there, we're just like, what's happening? Mostly, I think it was said, what the hell's going on, more times than not, with regard to the whole publishing process. But I think that's life, right?
Yes.
That's life.
You always have to find your people and trust them.
But I will say that, find your people and trust them and give them a chance. If they align with you, definitely open your mind that it'll be a great place to go. So have a wonderful day, everybody. Caroline saying love you too. We love you back.
Oh, bye everybody.
Beautiful from Suzanne. And we have Lori James on here as well. I want to thank you guys all for showing up today. Remember, again, books do change lives. Great writing stirs emotion, makes us feel, and those authors who are vulnerable to the extent that they're actually allowing you a look in are truly changing the world. So keep making a difference. Leslie, where can we get your book? Oh my God, that's important.
Oh, well, first of all, you can get the book anywhere books are sold, whether it's Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, which is lesliearasmussen.com, and there's links on there. I'm on Instagram, obviously, at Leslie R. Author. I'm on Twitter at Leslie R. Author, and I'm on Facebook at After Happily Ever After Novel.
Okay, so I really want you to go out there and start following Leslie. She has great content. She's always coming up with great content. Definitely follow, tweet, say hello, get some witty banter back at you, and make you smile for the day. Lori, thank you so much for coming. Suzanne, Carolyn, all
Yes,
of you guys.
thank you, everybody.
Follow Leslie. She is going to be quite the surprise coming forward. I know it, because this is just one colorful book, but this lady is going to have many coming at us.
Thank
so
you.
I'm excited. This is wonderful. Grab onto your chair, rock the world, and thank you all for joining us on our second episode of Amazing Authors. Have a wonderful day, Leslie.
Thank you, Meg. You too. Bye.